Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to take a few moments to honour the late Bob Callahan. I'd like to begin by sharing a famous story that exemplifies who he was as a person. About a decade ago, Bob Callahan and some friends went downtown to catch a Toronto Maple Leafs game. On his way there, he was approached by a homeless man who asked if he had any change. Mr. Callahan did not have any change, but he had a $50 bill with him. In classic public servant Bob Callahan fashion, he gave the man the entire amount. He then spent a few minutes talking to the man and concluded the conversation with a legendary line, "Just remember, I'm Bob from Brampton." This story tells you a lot about Bob Callahan and his 43 years serving in public life. This 43-year resume makes him one of the longest-serving politicians in Canadian history. Brampton Bob passed away at the age of 83 on Boxing Day 2020. Mr. Callahan was a Liberal member of provincial parliament who had friends on all sides of the aisle, a truly well-respected man. In fact, Brampton had named recently one of its community centres the Bob Callahan Flower City Senior Centre just a few days before his passing in his honour. Mr. Callahan is survived by the love of his life, Lynn, his wife and partner for 58 years. He was a loving father to his 4 sons and a loving grandfather to his 7 grandchildren. Bob had a reputation of never missing his sons' or grandchildren's games. That is why he will be remembered by his family as the best fan anyone could ask for. Bob will be remembered for his humour, his genuine kindness, his humility, his care and concern for others, especially the most vulnerable, and his tireless service to the community. I remember Bob, his wife Lynn, and his sons at Thunder Beach over many summers, and I know that Bob's memory is honoured as Lynn continues to cottage at Thunder Beach in recent summers. Even when Brampton Bob was not involved in politics, he continued helping people through his legal practice focused on criminal law. Bob often said that a large percentage of his clients were simply victims of their circumstances. He not only provided his clients with legal representation, but he took an interest in helping them change the direction of their lives through rehabilitation, gaining access to further education, and improving their life skills. In 1969, Bob put his name in the ring to run for Brampton Council. This was the beginning of what would become a lifetime of proudly serving the people of Brampton. Bob saw Brampton grow from a small town of just 15,000 to the vibrant city it is today. A fun fact about when Bob Callahan was first elected to council, he was not a councillor as we refer to such office holders today, but instead an alderman. Now, while serving on council, among many other things, he was instrumental in the development of the Peel Heritage Complex, the new City Hall, the Rose Theatre, the Gage Park Skating Trail, the Powerade Centre, South Fletcher's Hockey Complex, and double tracking for GO trains. He continued doing great work during his 10 years as member of provincial parliament, championing the construction of the A. Grenville and William Davis Courthouse, as well as the Brampton Civic Hospital, and he was an outspoken leader for many social changes happening within the province at that time. Bob Callahan was first elected to the Ontario Legislative Assembly in 1985 for the riding of Brampton. He was re-elected in 1987 and again in 1990 for the new riding of Brampton South. Over the years, Bob served on various committees here. He was the chairman for the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, Select Committee on Health, the Standing Committee on the Administration of Justice, and the Standing Committee on Regulations and Private Bills. He also served as a member of the Standing Committee on General Government. All in all, not only was Bob Callahan a tremendous public servant who dedicated his life to serving those in need, but also an inspirational human being, a mentor to many, a great legal mind, and a true parliamentarian in the best sense of that tradition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.